Inflation, still a concern.
It's certainly a concern, but we're right in that threshold that the Fed has been looking for so long. We're right at that 2% mark. Whether you look at it through many different rose-colored glasses, when the Fed talked last week, I took it as more dovish than hawkish. We got the CPI number that came out today that showed maybe we are a little dovish. So that's why the market's really cheering that today. We're showing a very strong U.S. economy, but we're not showing rampant inflation. So that's good for pretty much everyone, and that's why the market's reacting. And we're seeing, lower high or higher lows every single day breaking out of this trend line.
That's pretty good news, but we've seen the dollar cross above 90. If you take a look at the Dixie for the past month now, speculative accounts, those hedgies, big retail, still have a massive position short against the dollar. So could we see a massive short covering, and what's next with that?
We did see a pretty good short covering, from 89 to 93. That was a pretty good move, and I think that's because everyone was on one side of the boat. We saw Trump was saying he wanted a weaker dollar, and everyone was shorting it. So that may have been the move. We've already seen it. So I wouldn't think that we're going to see another move from 93 to 96. I would be more inclined to see the dollar settle in here at these levels, maybe the 92 where we're at, 91-ish. That would be what I would look at more in the market.
Okay, well, another concern could be rising oil, as we've seen with crude just like racking above, what is it now, above 70. It's really funny. I was looking for an old video of us, and I came across one on CNBC of you, and it said like oil at like 90, so I knew it was pretty old.
Yeah, well, I remember when oil was over 100, and then when it got below 30, and that's when you have to make your mark, at the extremes. These are levels here that I'm not going to say they're overdone, but there's a lot of geopolitical situations that have caused oil to go up. But, for most people, for most countries, it seems like the mid-60s is probably the number in the absence of any geopolitical news. So that's why oil's kind of stalled out here. It tried hard yesterday. We're seeing it pull back a little bit. But the one thing about it is the oil equities, some of the big oil has performed very well. And that's been the new leadership in this market. And I think that's more important. You look at financials and you look at oil, that's two sectors that needed some room to go.
How about car manufacturers with rising oil costs? Ford now focuses solely on SUVs. I think they have one sedan because that market has done so well.
Well, that Ford announced today that they were going to shut the F-150 for a couple of weeks while they were looking for some parts, I believe. So that's interesting. The automakers have to be concerned about this Chinese tariff as well, as far as steel and aluminum and the other products that go into making these cars. So the car makers have an interesting thing with higher oil and cars that are, gas guzzlers. I think we've gotten this preconception that oil is going to remain low forever because the U.S. is starting to build their own or, produce their own. But that's not the case. Oil starts getting above 75, 80, and gas is above $3, that's going to affect the consumer, on a pretty big level.
We're not going to be able to date your old videos. Well, Matt, before we mic drop, we also have earnings to come out. Dropbox is this evening, and they are a listed company here at the New York Stock Exchange. Are they a legit competitor against something like Amazon, who offers free cloud services?
They're growing that way. You start to see that new companies that are coming out that are taking little bits and pieces of it. Amazon is the elephant in the room, though. And when they feel like it, they could probably come out and do what they want. They're focused right now on what's going on in India right now, as far as what Walmart and Flipkart did. So now that that's done, what does Amazon now focus on? So that would be something that maybe would concern me if going forward are they going to make a concentrated effort into the storage space because they missed that for the short term. Amazon can kind of do what they want. As far as IPOs, we had another pretty big one down here today. In the AXA Equitable. So, the IPO market's been pretty good. I noticed one of the Chinese IPOs that was recent was IQ. That's had a nice run here recently, too. That's the Chinese Netflix, supposedly. And so the market's heating up. There's new money that's finding homes. And that's what you like about this market right now. Some of those headwinds are now becoming tailwinds, and you're seeing the market act accordingly.
Matt, you're so quotable. Well, that just titles this interview. Matt, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, my pleasure. You too.